Thank you very much, Mr. Herman, and good afternoon, everybody. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to say a few words in commending this program, which I am sure those of you who have participated before have seen the benefits. St. Lucia is at a very critical stage in its development, not just economic, but there are social conditions that we face here that makes it imperative that we change our focus into providing certain services that will bring relief and to a certain extent rescue us from the calamities that we face. I was overseas recently. I was attending a program in one of the countries of the world which would be considered the hotbed of crime and activities of that nature. And for the 2 weeks that I spent there, not for once did I hear anything about crime. I was not brought to the knowledge of any accidents. I am not saying that they didn't occur. I'm not saying that crime did not occur. But whilst I concentrated very much on the studies that I went to do, the unnerving news that reached me was that in my country, almost every day, there was a murder, there was some kind of criminal activity, to the extent that it reached a crescendo when I learned. Now, I have not been able to follow through all of the occurrences that I learned happened while I was over there. So I want to believe that it was not even true, but I am saying what I heard. There was one time where I heard that about 7 persons were shot. And since I came back, within the past 3-4 days, there have been 2 killings. Many times we see accidents on the road, and a lot of us, from our good-naturedness, our good spirit, we tend to want to help. But sometimes when we go out to perform those chivalrous or philanthropic or even benefactoring deeds, more or less, we do more harm than good. Because when we do not know what to do in situations, we can commit persons to more serious problems and put ourselves in serious embarrassment. So knowledge and skills are important ingredients to the delivery of services. And it takes me back, as I say this, it takes me back a few years when I was a little bit younger than I am right now. It was on the island of Barbados, where we went out as a group on a swimming or a hike. And I remembered that not many of us at the time were swimmers. There were about just 2 of us. But there was this guy who wanted to bathe. And you know, I don't know if it happens today, but in those days, people used to want to borrow each other's bath trunks if they didn't take one along. Say, lend me your bath trunk when you finish so that I can go and bathe. Yeah, that happened. That happened. And this particular guy could not get a bath trunk to go and bathe. But later in the afternoon, some benefactor lent him a bath suit. He told me, let us go out. And in that area in Barbados, the sea is pretty rough. Sometimes it is calm and you can walk out for quite a few yards and there's nothing. But when that sea begins to rise, you better don't stay near. And I think that is what happened that afternoon when this guy went out. I swam out. In those days, I knew how to swim. But while we were on our way back, I noticed the guy was not making very much progress. I was ahead of him on both occasions, both when I went out and when I was returning. And all of a sudden I said, his name was Selwyn. I said, Selwyn, let's go, man. I saw him struggling, and he said, help. When he said, help, I said, oh my God, what's going on? All I knew was how to swim. I never learned life-saving. I didn't know anything like CPR. I didn't know anything like first aid. The guy stood there, and when I saw the guy dipped about 2 or 3 times, I just stayed frozen underwater. There were some guys on the shore who saw what was happening. There was one young lady who screamed her guts away. Say, look what is happening, look what is happening. Selwyn has gone down. This time I didn't know whether Selwyn went down and he stayed because I was frozen stiff. The guys brought a boat and they tried to push the boat against the torrents of water, and the boat had difficulty, and they had difficulty maneuvering the boats. When they saw what was happening, the most that they were able to do was to stretch out their hands and say, boy, hold my hand. And they grabbed me and tried to push me into the boat. By the time they pushed me into the boat capsided. The 3 guys who were there, they all fell in the water, and they said, fellas, see for yourself. I was frozen. I said, you see what happened? I just went in. I don't know where I got the strength. I'm sure it came from on high. And I swam on shore. Unfortunately, we were not able to recover the body that very night. But I'm saying, even if we did recover that body, I don't think there was anybody in our group. If the young man needed any help, emergency assistance, none of us at the time was equipped to provide him any assistance if he needed that little whiff of sustenance to regain his strength and to breathe. We didn't know what to do. None of us had the training. I have never forgotten that incident. And it became very important to me as an individual to pay very close attention thereafter to any skill that lent itself to helping, to assisting persons who were in need. Not too long ago, I did a coxswain's course. It is what you do as a captain, and we did CPR and we did first aid. I had done it even previous to that. But one of the things about these programs is that if you do not keep practicing the skills, you wouldn't remember all of what you learned. And up to a point like this, even if I hold certificates in those, I have not practiced those skills. And I can't guarantee if I see somebody by the side of the road, I can't guarantee if I see somebody by the beach needing help, if I can go out. I'm not trying to suggest to you that is the procedure or that is how you go about it. Take your program seriously. Practice your skills. Do not take it for granted that I have done the theory, I have done some practice in class, and then when I go out, I will be able to utilize it. Practice all the time, because that's where perfection comes. And it is a program which one has to commend. And Mr. Craig Herman is one gentleman who I find has what the Americans used to call stick-to-itiveness. Some of us start a lot of things. You hear a lot of persons have started clubs, or they have started groups, and they have started programs. It's not a matter of what we start. They say the race is not for the swift, but for he or she who endures to the end. A lot of us do not have this sustaining power. We do not have this capacity to want to see us through the end. Usain Bolt, however thunderbolting he is, if he did not develop a capacity to reach the end zone, he would not have been the person he is today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great program in which you are. It makes you, or it provides you an equipment. It provides you a facility. It provides you a skill that the average person does not have. And I started by reminding us of the kind of environment in which we are exposed at the moment. And the worse the environment becomes, which I hope it does not continue to soar as it does, but the more it becomes what it is the more the skills that we have attained and we are developing will be needed.